Imagine if Israel was a wonderful nation that we all loved, and that whenever there's a natural disaster, the Israelis showed up, and that people said, oh my God, an Israeli plane. Yes, we're saved. They can do that. They're choosing not to, and it breaks my heart. Let's get to peace.
An Israeli delegation of rescuers are taking part in the search for survivors in Mexico after a deadly earthquake which struck on Tuesday, killing nearly 300 people. I-24 News defense correspondent Chloe Liu has the details.
When disaster strikes, Israel usually strikes back with aid. It's often one of the first countries to respond to catastrophe, and the latest earthquake in Mexico is no exception. Israeli army rescue teams and engineers are busy at work in Mexico City, where efforts to locate trapped civilians continue. The Israeli disaster response teams arrived in Mexico last Thursday, following the massive earthquake that has already claimed over 300 lives.
We search according to information. We'll continue working so long as we're allowed or as long as we can.
IDF rescue operations are currently focusing on 2 locations in the city. One site is a collapsed 6-story building where an estimated 50 people were trapped in the rubble. The Israeli teams cleared the top floors and are now advancing towards the center of the building in search for survivors. Israel's aid delegation is made up of over 70 soldiers and 25 engineering experts. These engineers are assessing which evacuated buildings are still safe as part of efforts to help return people to their homes. From Nepal to Haiti to Turkey, the Israeli military routinely responds to natural disasters around the world.
The Israeli army, and especially our unit, has a lot of experience in previous disasters, provide a great boost to the local rescue effort in this country.
Local residents in Mexico City greeted Israeli search and rescue teams with gratitude. The aid delegation is expected to return to Israel later this week. Chloe Liu, I-24 News.
On the 6th of February 2023, a devastating earthquake hit Syria and Turkey, leading to destruction and the loss of many lives. The GPO was with the brave United Hatzalah team that was sent to rescue people who were trapped underneath the rubble.
Our mission in Turkey was to save lives. We rescue 15 people, which is a lot. At the same moment that we find lives, we start to handle the situation inside the rubbles just to bring or create a small tunnel to reach to the person who located inside. And then our doctors get it inside to stabilize the patient. I was so proud of our technology with the drone unit. We located 2 sisters through the thermal camera that we had in the drone.
Part of our culture, we go and assist everybody in needs, and we have the knowledge in medical assessment, in rescue assessment, in technology assessment. I was so proud of being an Israeli there, and I was so proud that it doesn't matter what time of the hour there or where we were, the local people knew that if they need help, they could come to us as the Israelis, and we will help in any way.
Israel have the biggest heart. כל המציל נפש אחת כאילו הציל עולם מלא, and this is what we are doing every day here in Israel and all over the world.
Aid for Nepal is coming from around the world. Israel has sent more than 250 military rescue and medical personnel to help the country in the wake of the worst earthquake to hit the country in 80 years.
We have just landed over here after a very long flight from Israel. We did everything that we can to be as fast as possible on ground in order to save lives over here with search and rescue teams and our hospital.
The Israeli search and rescue team included dogs trained to locate survivors under the rubble of collapsed buildings. The Israeli military's field hospital will be able to treat at least 200 patients a day. It's equipped with about 95 tons of humanitarian and medical supplies from Israel, along with a staff of 122 doctors, nurses, and paramedics. It also includes emergency and operating rooms and pediatric neonatal departments. The tiny Jewish state has one of the top disaster relief teams in the world. It's usually among the first to offer substantial aid to countries in distress from natural and other disasters.
Ukrainian and Israeli officials dedicated the Mostiska Field Hospital, located in western Ukraine between Lviv and the Polish border.
The State of Israel mission to Ukraine today stands our unique moment in history. It effectively connects between our past Jewish life here that goes back 1,000 years and the modern Jewish state. Our mission is to make sure that Ukrainian people know they are not alone in this chaos.
The $6.5 million project is operated by Sheba Medical Center and Schneider Children's Medical Center. Ukrainians started arriving as soon as the doors opened.
I came here with my daughter. She's 2 and 8 years old and she has problems on her skin. I have very high trust in the Israel medicine, so I decided to come and check up my daughter here.
The hospital includes an emergency room, delivery room, and departments for men, women, and children. There are also imaging and laboratory capabilities with remote technology connected to Sheba Medical Center.
We're here to just give full support and partnership with the local hospital. We're like an extension of their hospital, a unit in the field. We're working closely with their doctors and their system.
Israel sent 10 tons of medicine, plus beds, equipment, and more than 60 workers. Many have Ukrainian-born parents or other relatives forced to flee or who were captured during the Holocaust.
80 years ago, my mother, Victoria Zamoyre, then a 15-year-old girl, after all her family was murdered in Belzec, fled her home not far from here on her way to freedom. Today, I, Elchanan Bar-On, stand here representing the State of Israel as part of a field hospital, lending a helping hand to anyone in need, friend or foe, because medicine has no boundaries.
In the immortal words of the legendary Rabbi Akiva, love thy neighbor as thyself.
The opening ceremony including raising both the Israeli and Ukrainian flags, singing of the national anthems, and a hope that the war would soon be over. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Back in 2004, a building collapsed in Ramallah, my hometown. And because of corruption and because of the limitation of the Palestinian Authority, they were not prepared to have a rescue team. People were under the rubble, screaming, dying practically, and people could not get them out. So they needed the help of the Israeli authorities now. But it was during the second Palestinian Intifada. There were airplanes, there were assassinations, there were suicide bombing attacks. Every checkpoint had so many school children pushed by the wise Palestinian leaders of all Palestinian factions, including Mahmoud Abbas' faction, Fatah, to go down to the checkpoints and throw stones on the Israeli soldiers where they can die, where we can create more chaos and get more global attention. So now what can we do? I was part of the Israeli intelligence at that time. And by the way, I'm sorry that I didn't take you through the chronological order of my story. We wouldn't finish today. I know why we are here. Some of you know who I am. Some of you don't. It really doesn't matter if you don't. I say what I say, it's going to take you a while to digest it. Good luck. So now, I'm part of the Israeli intelligence, and we need to see what's going on, you know, the safety of the troops. Those are people now, they're coming to rescue. They are on a humanitarian mission. So I was in the area, and the Israeli Defense Force came to protect the rescue team, and they were able to save dozens of Palestinian workers from beneath the rubble. They worked an entire day, and the Palestinian people watching. The children of the refugee camps, women, everybody is watching the rescue. And I thought to myself, how do they feel about this right now? For me, you know, I was fascinated, you know, to see, you know, how democracy function in situations like this. You know, war is something, conflict is something, humanity is something else. Now there is a crisis. People are dying, and we are here, not because we are Israelis, because we are human beings trying to help other human beings, regardless of what happened last night, regardless of what's going to happen tomorrow, or possibly on our way out of the city of Ramallah. And this is what I think the rescue team did not expect. What would happen on the way out of Ramallah after a one day of saving dozens of Palestinian lives? On the way out, hundreds of Palestinians said thank you to the Israeli Defense Forces and rescue team in a very special way by throwing stones, Molotov cocktails, and shooting on the Israeli vehicles for about 5 miles from the city center all the way to the checkpoint. This is ugly. And this is not only one incident. I say this is ugly because the Palestinian people in general, the collective consciousness, and I challenge their best philosopher to come out and debate me. I don't like political debate, but if they have somebody who has the power and the guts to challenge my logic, to challenge my truth, let them step out. But they don't. They like to stay in gray areas, in shallow waters. This is where they prefer to be. They like the type of media like CNN because they are too emotional and they know how to manipulate them.